Live right here to start off this new week. It's a Monday on the early line on SportsGrid, but as we do each and every Monday, we look back on the Sunday slate in the weekend that was in the National Football League, the injury analysis and insight with the Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chao. Dr. Chao, as always, we appreciate the time. Thanks for being here on this Monday on the early line.
Thanks for having me. And of course, unfortunately, lots of injuries to discuss.
Yep. It is the good thing of having you here, but it's the unfortunate topics of conversation, injuries around the NFL. And Dr. Chow yesterday, after a very promising start to this season, could it be already done for KC's wide receiver, Rasheed Rice, attempting to make a tackle after Patrick Mahomes threw an interception? It was actually Mahomes also attempting to make a tackle right into the knee on a collision with Rasheed Rice. Andy Reid saying after the game, quote, "It's not good. The fear is a season-ending knee injury." So, Dr. Chow, on this Monday, do you think the fear will be confirmed and Rasheed Rice is set to miss the rest of this season for KC?
Unfortunately, yes. In orthopedics, we have a saying that things come in threes. And for Kansas City, Marquise Brown, likely season with the SC joint. Isaiah Pacheco, most of the season with the ankle, and now Rasheed Rice. Look, in my time in the NFL, I never walked off the field or before an MRI didn't know the bad news based on exam from an ACL tear, a positive Lockman. It's a very simple exam. We're used to teams saying, we don't know, MRI, MRI, MRI. Here, Andy Reid's being a little more honest. He's leaving hope alive, but I think they already know, which is really, really too bad.
Doc, when we take a look at Rasheed Rice and that injury, you've probably examined thousands of athletes, in front of your eyes here. But when you see it just on the TV, what's the mechanism that you look for that lets you know that this could be an ACL injury as opposed to something else?
Well, this is different than typical. 75 or 80% of ACL tears in the NFL are non-contact. This one is contact. His foot is planted. He gets hit high on the thigh. The initial hope was hyperextension, bone bruise, maybe a posterior lateral corner ligament sprain without getting the ACL. But if the force keeps going hard enough, in this case with his foot planted in the ground there, that yes, it can then become an ACL, and that seems to be the case.
An unfortunate reality for Kansas City and a couple of offensive pieces that will not be there for most, if not all, of this 2024 campaign. Let's go to Indianapolis, Doc. The Colts getting their first win of the year, handing the Steelers their first loss. And it was a great start in Indy yesterday for the young quarterback, Anthony Richardson. But then he was sidelined for the remainder of the game. The veteran Joe Flacco takes over. At the end of the opening quarter, Anthony Richardson was bounced from the game twice in about a 4-play span. What injury do you think plagues AR moving forward? What's his prognosis the next few weeks for Indianapolis?
Well, he takes a lot of hits running the ball. He took a hit on his right hip, and to us, it was a right hip pointer from the war room. He came back into the game and then had no power on that leg and fell down and then left and stayed. People think he's fine because he stood on the sideline. But here's the thing with hip pointers. It swells overnight. We got to see how he does here the next day. And it is potentially possible for him to miss a game or two. It's not an IR injury, but given the mobility that he has, it easily could cost him a game or two. It's not long term, but it can be one of the more painful things. The only way to play through is somehow to get a game day injection, etc. And that's no fun either. So expecting potentially some missed time. And of course, Jonathan Taylor also in that game, a right high ankle injury. And both Taylor and Anthony Richardson's hip pointer have now been confirmed by media. And it's said to be minor, Jonathan Taylor. No big deal. I'm okay. But there's no such thing as no big deal high ankle sprain for a running back. Remember, Joe Mixon recently returned to the Houston Texans game and now has missed the next 2 games for his, quote, mild high ankle. So not saying it's going to be injured reserve for Jonathan Taylor, but high ankle, still high ankle. And it is on the same right ankle that he had previous problems with and started a season on injured reserve, etc.
Injuries do tend to pile up in the NFL. We do have 2 Monday Night Football games tonight, heading over to SixScore.com, looking at the field view, Doc. How about this game tonight? The Tennessee Titans, a lot of green and health on offense, but that's not the same with the Miami Dolphins. A lot of injuries here to the Miami Dolphins. How do we look at this football game tonight between the Dolphins and the Titans?
Look, just remember at Sports Injury Central, we grade health. We let the odds makers and the public, and they'll set the lines and move the lines. So yes, Tennessee on offense is healthy. Does that equate to production? That's for you all to decide. But they are healthy, okay? You have to think Will Levis is going to be conservative in terms of another pick six, and he might end up losing his job. But as you just see there, the Dolphins offensively, we know Tua. My early prediction last week that Snoop Huntley would be the quarterback has come true. Obviously, it's left tackle, left guard for the Dolphins that are the big deal issue there. The Titans do lose key corner Chidobe Awuzie and may not have Jeffrey Simmons, so maybe their two best players. So there's a lot going on there in Miami in the first part of the 2 games.
Yeah, certainly so. A lot when the Dolphins are on the field offensively. Let's get to the second game, Doc, of our Monday night doubleheader in Detroit. The Lions host the Seahawks. What's the field view looking like for both of these teams entering this Monday night in the Motor City?
Well, a lot of linebacker issues for the Seahawks on defense and a key injury on offense for the Detroit Lions with Frank Ragnow, their center, a longtime center, quarterback of the offensive line with a pec injury there for Detroit. There's the view with the linebacker issues on Seattle and the center. So that's where a lot of the attention is going to be on that part of the field view.
The great work from Dr. Chao and his team at Sports Injury Central, SICScore.com. That's SixScore.com for all of that health information and more. Dr. Chao, as always, we appreciate the time.
Thank you.